Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting tutorial. Now, in this tutorial, I'm going to show you this wedding website right here. So even though you're not making a wedding website, the information you learn here will be useful to make other types of websites. So this one is a single page website. If I try to scroll down here, you'll see there's a About section, which is right here. Now, this information is not just written here, it's actually added to the admin section. So for me to change this, I don't simply go into the HTML and edit this. I do that from the admin section. So like here, I have a dashboard which shows me how many users, how many gallery images, and so on, and you can add more of this because I show how to create this. If we click on the About there, this information you see here, including these icons, the names, is all information you see here. So if I want to change, instead of saying the groom, I can change it here by clicking the edit, and it becomes maybe the guy or something. And then I can change his name as well to Jake or something like that, and then hit the save button. And then when I come back here and refresh the page, you see that it changes to the guy and Jake over here. So all this is done in the admin section, and I'll show you how that works. If we click on story, it takes us to this, and exactly the same thing we have when these guys first met, the date they met, and the first date, when they got engaged, and the wedding day. So this is the story right here, and just as the other thing as well, if you click on the story part, you will see all the information here in the admin section. You can edit and delete this information as needed. So as you can see, you can grab this website and make it for several people just by changing this information in the admin section. It will take you a few minutes, and just like that, you have a website for a wedding, right? So everything, including the gallery photos, everything down here can be changed. The people, these people right here are family members, which you can change here as well. So also there are settings in case there's something that I didn't put, as maybe, for example, you want to be able to change this text right there. You can just add it to settings. You just give it a title and a value, and then you can always edit it in settings, because here you can actually add, there's a settings page, and you can add a new setting, tell it what type of setting it is, and then put a value there which can be edited, just like this image at the very top, and who designed the website and the website title. All these things are saved in the settings, and you can easily edit them as you wish, and you can add new items to the settings list so that in case you want to be able to edit that part, you can add it. So for example, this hero image, I can click edit here, click on the image, and just like that, I'll be able to change the image that's at the home page. If I save and then come back to the actual website, if I click home and then refresh, you'll see that the image now has changed. I can also change this title just by editing that setting right there. Also, when people want to tell you that they're coming to the event, they can put in their details here and make a submission. Once they do that, this comes to the RSVP section here, and these are the messages which you can delete when you want. Now this part here uses Ajax, so you're going to see also how Ajax can be used to submit a page without refreshing it. So everything here is done. Whatever I have left out, you can easily add to it because everything is explained very well. All right, so this is going to be a 5-part series. Hopefully I've mentioned that before. 5-part series because it's quite long, and so I'll be releasing one video per day. So if you're watching this, we're going to be watching these, the streaming, the premieres, then you have to wait one day for each of the parts to come out. But if you're watching this in the future, then all the parts are already available, so you can go ahead and watch. And of course, we're going to be using the MVC system that I created in a previous video, so you can check the link in the description if you didn't watch that MVC tutorial. So this is an attempt to show you how to use that MVC system to create websites. Right, so let's get started. So where I got this template is from this website, free-css.com. So it's freecss.com. That's the website. And this is where all the templates, mostly I get templates from to convert to PHP. So as you can see, they've got a lot of templates. This is like page number 285. So this is a huge collection of PHP or HTML templates which you can use to test your skills on PHP. So what you should do is just grab a template from here and try to convert it to a PHP website and see how well that goes for you. So today the template we're going to be looking at is called, let's see, there's Jack in there. So let me try and search. Maybe it's going to give me that. Yeah, so it's this one, Jack and Rose. So this is a wedding template. So once you click on this, you can download or view the live demo. So I already did that, I already downloaded, so we're going to recreate that. So to begin with, we always need a certain things to run our website. So of course, we're going to need a local server. So if you haven't installed a local server already, please do so. You can do that by downloading XAMPP, or if you're using a Mac, download MAMP instead and then install it. Once you install, open the control panel, start Apache and MySQL by clicking start on both of these. That will turn your computer into a local server. And to know that things have worked, just go to your browser and type the word localhost, and you should see something that looks like this. So for as long as you don't get page not found, then everything is working as intended. All right, great. Now I downloaded the template over here. So I've created a folder inside my XAMPP, that's the XAMPP folder, htdocs, and then I've created a folder called templates. So in here is where I'm going to be adding my templates. So this is the downloaded template zip folder. So I'm just going to extract it right here. So I'll extract to the folder. Okay, so I should have just extracted directly, but hey, why not? So I'm going to rename this to, let's call it wedding. Maybe Jack and Rose. Jack and Rose. Of course, you can name this folder as anything you want. So this is just for me to remember that I've already worked on this template. So I need to put some of its name in there. So Jack and Rose, and then this is where the actual website is. Now I don't need an extra folder there, so I'm just going to cut everything from here and paste it on the outside, just to move everything away from that folder and delete that folder. All right, so we have everything here. So if I were to drag and drop my this HTML page into the browser, it should display the page. So let me wait for it to load. Now, one thing you can notice is while it's loading, if your connection is slow like mine, you'll see that down at the corner here, it was loading things from Google Drive and all that. Actually from Google, not Google Drive, but Google. So which means some things are external libraries in here, so we should internalize those as well. So this is the template here as an HTML file. So we're just going to look at what we can create from here. So this is a single page website. You can see that if I click on the About section, it simply scrolls to the About section. Story, it goes to the story. Gallery, same thing. Then we can scroll these images around, and family, events. RSVP, here where you can confirm your attendance, and then contact here. So this is a wedding website, in case you haven't noticed. So if somebody's having a wedding, you can make a website for them and they say, please make us your website. You can simply get this template and change the things in here, and then it can be their website, right? You can also make money making such websites for people. All right, so what we're going to do here is just to make sure that all the resources that this page demands are actually in our local drive. So what we would do is grab your text editor. So in my case, I'm using Sublime Text, but you can use VS Code or some other text editor that you would like, no problem. So what I'll do is you can also use Notepad++. So I'm going to grab this guy. You see, these are support files here. We have CSS files, we have images in here, which is very nice. And we have some JavaScript as well. And then we have libraries here where I'm guessing these are JavaScript libraries. Yes, as I thought. Okay, and then CSS, SCSS, this is uncompiled CSS. So we probably won't be needing that folder, but let's just grab this, because this index.html is what contains all links to every single item that we're using in here. So by looking at the head of the template, we can tell all the resources that we need. So these are local because they don't have HTTP, so they're not going external. So I can simply Control F, select the HTTP over here. Okay, so what I need to do is look for everything, every link in here that has HTTP, right? Okay, that way I know all the external resources that we need. Now this one is YouTube, so this is definitely a video that's embedded. That's why there's embed here, so that's not a big issue at all. Here we have, this is just a link to a page, so that's fine. And then we have some JavaScript. So we have jQuery here, which is linked. And what's this? This is Bootstrap as well. So Bootstrap is linked. Okay, great. So there's Bootstrap bundle.mean.js. Okay, that's fine. What else do we need here? These are local because they don't have HTTP, so which means they are part of the folder, just like this one. So the only things we need to worry about are jQuery. We need to download jQuery. We need to grab Bootstrap as well. I already downloaded Bootstrap, but we're going to see how you can do that as well. And let's see, what else? Then we go to the head. So the head and the footer will tell you. And then there's a font here, Monsterrat on Google APIs. What else is this? This is Font Awesome. So we're going to get Font Awesome. This is for the icons that you see on the page. So every icon here is like maybe this one over there and this one. This is Font Awesome. So we need that as well. And these are local libraries, so this is good. Okay, so it's not actually much that we need. So we need jQuery, we need a font, and we need Font Awesome. So let's grab those things from the internet. Okay, so first of all, let's go and grab Bootstrap. So I'm going to go to getbootstrap.com and then download Bootstrap. Now I already downloaded Bootstrap on my system, so just go to Docs. Also, click on Bootstrap examples on this one here. But first, let's go to Docs here. I don't know why it's so. Oh yeah, we don't actually need to go to Docs. We can just click on the download here. So just click on this download, and it takes you to this page, and then you can click download. So don't download the uncompiled, always download the compiled version of Bootstrap. So you can click download to begin the download process. So that will give you a zip file. On top of that, we're going to go to fontawesome.com. So that's Bootstrap they are downloading. My downloads are very slow. This is Font Awesome. Then find the download section. So this is fontawesome.com/download, and download Font Awesome for the web, the free version. So there's free and pro, which is paid. Just get the free for web, not for desktop, because that will give you actual files. I just want the CSS version. So just click on that, and then we are good to go. And then on top of that, we have that Google font that we need called Montserrat. So let's check that out. It's this one. So all you can do with this is just go to Google, type that, and just say download. I already downloaded this, so you can search for that and click on the Google Fonts website, which is this one, and then you can click download family, font family or something. Okay, wherever you get the font doesn't really matter. I think that covers it. Then we can go to jQuery, jQuery.com/download as well, so that we can grab jQuery from there as well. I think I already do have jQuery, but it's such a small file, so we can just download it one more time. So no biggie, let's do that as well. So I'll stop this terrible internet. Anyway, while this jQuery is loading the page, we're going to go to our folder and see what we have so far. So in our folder here, I have Montserrat, which I already downloaded, and I have the template, and I have Font Awesome, and then I have this MVC that we created in a previous tutorial. So if you didn't watch that tutorial, go and watch it, but if you haven't, if you don't want to watch that, you already know what MVC is. This is essentially our framework. That's what we're going to use, but we created it in a different video. So there's a link in the description to that video if you want to watch it, but I'm going to explain what each file does in here because it's just a bunch of PHP files. So don't worry, we'll go through all of those. All right, so jQuery has downloaded. So download the compressed production jQuery. Yes, that's what we want. And this is what it gives you. Looks like gibberish, but it's JavaScript. So what you need to do is select everything here, copy, and then create a new file and paste in there. So now before I do this pasting, I want things to land in the correct page. So what I would do is right in here in template, I will move everything from outside here to Jack and Rose because this is now our folder. So I'll shift everything over. And then I'm going to grab Jack and Rose and drop it in my text editor so I can see things from here. Now I have copied jQuery. So what I'll do is I'll just right click, say new file. I right clicked on the main folder and paste like that. So I'll save this as jQuery like that. Now it's a good idea to save the version as well. So this one is 3.6.1, but if you can always check there to see, just open the file, it's usually there. So we just type jQuery.3.6.1.js at the end, just so we have a version number in the name as well, and save that. All right, great. Okay, so far so good. We have everything we need. Now we need a way to test to see that we have we can reload these things in here from the jQuery to other things here. So what I'm going to do is now open my MVC folder here because this is where our actual thing will reside. So what I would do is this. Let's open that. So our MVC is here. Now before I move any files, let me show you what's in the MVC folder here because that's important as well. All right, so MVC folder here. How this works is that this is a framework that we're going to use. Now all you need to know is that when we need to create a page in here, a page, we go to the controllers folder inside app and click on controllers, and then we can add a controller in here. once we add the controller with the name of the link. So let's say we want to create a products page, then the controller will be named products. So we'll name it there, and then inside here it has a class which has this code right there. And then this is how we load our view file, by naming it like that, and then our view files are saved inside views, and every view file should have the name that you supply here and .view.php. Okay, that's how it is. So let's say we want to create a products page. All we need to do is create a products controller and then a products view. Then we are good to go. Models is where all the classes reside. So for example, if we have a class that resizes images, it will be in here. In this one, we have the user class, which connects to the user table, which we don't have yet, but it's just a sample so that you can easily create other models. We're going to need a model for each table in the database. So this is one of those. Now, if any of this is confusing you, the MVC part, just go to the video in the description and watch that to get up to speed with how we came up with this code right here, because we typed this ourselves. The core contains the core files, like the app itself. This is the routing system for the app. The config is where we configure things, like the database connection and the website name, etc., etc. Controller is the main controller. It only has one function that loads a view file. So controllers here copy from this one. Database is the class that connects to our database. Functions is where we put all the functions that we may use in this project. Init is the file that loads all required files. So every file inside the core folder is required in here to make sure it runs with the whole project. And then model is the parent model. This is what connects to the database as well, but it contains all the general functions that are required by every model. That's pretty much it. And then the public folder is where we're going to put all our CSS and JavaScript. So inside the assets folder here. And so the way our MVC will run is when you load the page, the index page is loaded. Now the index page has only a limited amount of code, but it starts the session, initializes by loading all the files that are required, checks if we're in debug mode so we can display or not display errors, and then runs the app. This is all it does, and the app is inside here. So everything runs from within that. All right, so with that information in mind, let's get started. So I'm just going to move everything into our MVC so that our MVC is working as intended. So I'm going to go to the folders section here to find my folder and then move all the required files. So first of all, I will extract font awesome, and then I will extract the font as well. Now that I've extracted everything I need, Jack and Rose is the template. I have a copy of each one of these things, so I can delete all the zip files just to reduce the amount of things we have. This one is an image that comes with the template to just show us how the template looks like, but we don't need it, so I'll delete that as well. We don't need the README. You can read this if you want. Of course, you have to read instructions, but I'll delete those. We want to see as few files as possible. So font awesome, I know, and Monsterrat, this is the font. I know these guys will have to go in the assets folder. So I'm just going to cut these guys, go in the MVC, public, and then in the assets folder, I will paste them here. We'll organize them a bit better later. It's saying the folder is open somewhere. Where is it open? It's open. Is it? Where? Maybe because it's open in here. Let me close that. What's happening? What's happening? Try again. Okay, so it moved. So I've moved those into there. So back to the main folder. Now everything here is part of our template. So I want to move all these things and still make them work. So I'll grab the index.html. In fact, let me just grab the jQuery for now. In fact, everything apart from the MVC should move. Let me just move all of this and the index.html. So cut these guys, go to the MVC, public, assets, and now you see assets has CSS and JS folders that are empty. So that's fine. Let's just paste these and replace those that are there, and everything will work just fine. So moving, sometimes moving may be weird. Just copy, paste, and then delete the other one if it gives you a problem. So all the files are in here, all the assets, font awesome. We want to be able to locate font awesome in an easier manner. These folders are just too long, the folder names. So what I'm going to do is rename this main folder to just font awesome, and then remove it from its parent folder so that we just have one folder app to go, like that. So now this is an empty folder. Delete this one. So at least we have font awesome and directly goes to that. Okay, great. So images is empty. This website uses this img folder, which has all the images. So let's delete our images folder because we don't really need it. Library. So this monster rat here, let me open that, has this. So instead, I'll rename it to fonts, like that. Okay. And then we have assets, we have jQuery. Now jQuery, it's better it's in the JS folder. So let's just move it into that JS folder, like that. Okay, good. So now we are back to our top folder, which only now has index.html. So this is our home page. So we should just take it to the home controller and home view. So I'm just going to actually not cut this because we just need the info from within it. So I'll go to my text editor, open the HTML file, copy everything from it, open my MVC, go to my app and view files, home.view.php. Let's remove what's in here and let's paste and save. Now we don't need the HTML file and I can delete that file. Okay, so if I go back now to my normal folder, see now Jack and Rose has gone directly into the MVC, and then we have app and public. Now we don't need the MVC folder, so let me cut everything out, just put them inside Jack and Rose like this. It's complaining again, so maybe let's remove from project for now. Maybe that's what's causing that. So let me retry. Oh no. Okay, so it's probably open really in somewhere. Where is it open? Doesn't look like. So try again. Oh boy. Okay, let me cancel that, which is never good. Yeah, this isn't very good. So what I'll do is let me just undo. Oh no, that's even worse. Okay. So the app folder failed to move. So what I'm going to do is I want to move everything away from the MVC folder. Now I can't tell where it's being used and why it's refusing to. Let me close some of these folders. What's happening? What's happening? I think I closed the wrong folder. Anyway, I'm looking for Jack and Rose. Where are we? Oh, wait. The folder is called templates. My bad. Okay, there we go. We are back in business. Now, what I want is to move the app folder. Let me try one more time. So this time I'll copy instead of cut. I'll just make a copy. And it's outside here. And let me copy the, oh, I don't have the public folder anymore. So this one, I want to try and delete that folder. Okay, finally it has worked. So what I was trying to do is just remove that MVC folder so that things are directly, when I open templates, Jack and Rose, I'm inside the app, and then I'm in the public folder here. Okay, so with this, we have organized our files, and now let's test the website and see if it looks anything like the original and if some things are missing. So to do is go to the public, because this public folder is a landing page. So I want to drag and drop this file here. So drag and drop the PHP file. Actually, all I need is the folder, but let me just drag and drop the file. Okay, so this is what I get. Now, first thing is, let's remove the index.php. Okay, this is what we get. And then from here, let's remove everything up to htdocs and replace that with localhost. So when we use the word localhost, what we are doing is telling our server, which is Apache, to run our project through it. So you're telling it, process this document before we see it here. Now, clearly this doesn't look like our website there. So a lot of things are missing. So let's try and figure out what is missing. Let's go step by step and figure this out. So I'm going to close this one and then drag and drop the folder one more time. So I'll go to Jack and Rose and into templates, drag and drop the Jack and Rose folder. All right, so there's only one file we have right now that's working, and that's in the views. That's the home view right there. Okay, so let's see what's working. If I hover on the top here, you see Jack and Rose free wedding template, so which means we did indeed load the correct page. So that's nice. Now what we need to do though is make sure that every link is linked to the correct base page. So to do that, we go into the link here and copy it, that link here, and then let's go to our core and config file, and in here we have to change our root directory. So this is for the localhost, and this works for when you are online, so you can change that. So let's change this here and paste that. So that's our base. Make sure you don't put the slash at the end, remove that. We don't put that because normally on your website you don't have that, so we're trying to match that on your live website. So if we have that, let's refresh, nothing has changed. Okay, at least we've changed our root. But let's go back to our home view. Now everything that has href and has source should have root at the beginning. Okay, now keep in mind that root is the public folder. Okay, so root is the public folder. So once we say root, we are in there. But where is the img folder from root? It's inside assets, right? And then img. Everything is inside assets and then the actual folder. So all we need to do is look for everything that says href, like that, and then Control D to select all of that. Now this is wrong because we're going to select even the ones that have HTTPS, but that's okay. So what I want to do now is, after I've selected all of these guys, I was using Control D repeatedly, is move a step to the left, and then what I'll do is I'll put some PHP code in here. So I'm going to echo out root there, and then put a slash, and then put assets, and then slash again. So root represents the folder, the root path to here, the absolute path, and then slash assets slash img. Now this is not correct for everything, but it should get us halfway there. So if I refresh, look what we've got now. Looks kinda what we need, but we are not yet there. Now, if you want to know what's missing or what CSS files are not working here, just go and view the page source. And then all you need to do is simply click on any of these that are linked. And then if you see forbidden or page not found, you know that file is not being found by the server. So for example, this one should be found. If I click on it, you see the actual CSS file, right? That's cool. But if I click on this one also, we'll see the file. That's cool. But some of these, like maybe this one, it says forbidden. So we know those are not found. So you can go one by one in case you don't know specifically which ones are missing. Or sometimes what you can do is say inspect, right click and inspect and go to the console. And as you can see here, there's an exclamation point, which means there are warnings, and you can see they're right here. So these are all the scripts that couldn't be loaded, or the files that couldn't be loaded, etc., etc. So let's fix these things. So we did everything, we changed everything for href. Now let's change for source. So I'm just going to copy this root/asset so I don't have to type it again. Go down here. As you can see, we have source. So let me just select everything with source, Control D. It's quite a number. And then you can move one step to the right with the arrow key and paste like that. So at least now we can load some images and some JavaScript files. So if I refresh, you see we have images at least, and we have some resemblance of yeah, just font awesome is missing and a few others. So at this point, I think what's missing are all the external files. So let me go down here. It's these ones that have HTTPS that have the wrong setting. Now for jQuery, all I need to do, because we've added jQuery in there and we named it jQuery .3.6.1, we didn't put the mean.js at the end, just like that. So just remember what you named it as, and then I'll move this to, I'll replace this with JS. So inside the assets folder JS, there's jQuery file. You can actually check directly here and you see it right there. So we are linking the jQuery properly now. And what is this? Here we have to link the Bootstrap as well, though it's version 4, which is a bit older. I have a newer version, but that will do just fine as well. So let me refresh. Okay, some things have worked better because of jQuery. jQuery is responsible for these, I think. Okay, cool. So we still have a bit more to add. Let's Bootstrap there. And what else? The font, right? So let's add the font as well. So, and font awesome as well. Okay, so to import the font, we need to use styling. So I'm just going to go here and do this. So let's put some styles here, inline styles like that. I'll zoom in a little bit. Now to import a font, you put the @font face like that. And then you tell it the source. What is the source? You use URL, and then you put your URL in there, or the path to the actual thing. And then you name it font family, and then give it a name. So let's look at how it is named in the CSS. So in case here it's not named properly, we can check the CSS file. Or what we can do is, I think I deleted the old one too quickly. I wanted to see originally how the what is the name of the font, so that we can match that as well. Because here it's not here, but I think in the main CSS it should be there. Wait, let's go to CSS and style.css. So let's look for font family. So this is the one we have. Okay, so let's look for all Okay, so that's what it's named, font family, that. So let's grab this because that's what the CSS style says. Let's copy that and use it. So I'm going to grab this and paste it there. Now, this will be the name of the font we're importing. We don't want to add sans serif there. We just want this one right there. So what's the link to the file? So here the path to the file, of course, should include root and then assets and then fonts, because that's where we actually put it. So I'll do that to echo the PHP. Now keep in mind, the reason why I'm putting this in here and not in a CSS file is because I can't put PHP code in a CSS file. So that's why I add a style sheet here on the main page inside a PHP page, so I can actually echo the root path there. So here it's fonts slash, I think that's what we named it. If I go to assets and yeah, there's fonts. And then this is the actual file name. So I need to grab the actual file name. This one is italic, this one is variable font weight. So that's the one I want. So what I'll do is just open this containing folder. So open folder. This is where so it's in fonts and then inside static. Wait, is the other one a TTF as well? I guess we should use the variable font weight probably. So I'll rename this just so I can grab its file name. So I will put that there. So this is the path it is. If you want to use one of these static ones, you have to specify that correct path there. So keep in mind I've put the file extension as well. So with that in mind, we should have loaded our font. Let's try and see if these fonts will change accordingly. They don't seem to have changed at all. Okay, so maybe it's because we have put quotes around this name. Let's try and remove that. Let's refresh. That didn't seem to help at all. Okay, let's see what's going on here. So sometimes just viewing the source, so view page source, can help a lot. So here I'm looking at the path that is being given, and it looks like it's a valid path. I can check this path by just copying it and pasting it in here, and then you see it has downloaded the file, so which means it actually is loaded just fine. So maybe let me use single quotes around it. Font family. Let's see. Okay, doesn't seem to work at all. Anyway, that's probably maybe because the references are not correct. So let me see. Font family. Okay, let's inspect and check what files are not being accepted by going to the console. Okay, so failed to load script, bootstrap. Okay, that's fine. The page is in Quirks mode because doc type, it says you have to use doc type HTML here. Let me copy that message. This should come with the template, so I don't know why it doesn't have that. Oh, it does have it. So what's really going on? It already has doc type, so I don't know what's happening. But let's forget about this font for now. Let me add font awesome so that we can move forward at least. So what I'll do is I'll just put this on hold. This Google API, I won't delete what's in here. I'll just comment it out like that. Okay. And then let's go to font awesome. So loading the font awesome or.min.css. If we go to fonts, the assets folder, and go to font awesome, and we go to web fonts. Oh no, not in here. These are fine. we have to go to the CSS folder, and then this is the one we want, o.mean.css, because as you can see here, that's the one they're using. So we need to just find the path to that. So I'm just going to click in here after assets here and see what the path is. That's what I want to put in here. So just like the others, I will mute this one for now. Actually, you don't need to mute it. So what I can do is just put another link, and then the source now is this. So we will use a root and put that root here. Let's make sure the slashes are in the correct direction. And then finally, we grab the o.mean.css. So put that there. Okay, great. So that's our font awesome there. Let me now refresh the page. Let's see if we get any. Okay, so we do get the icons, as you can see. So things are working as intended. Actually, these are the correct fonts here. Some of these are not, but mostly they are. Okay, so we are getting there. Things are looking up, actually. Very cool. So the only thing we haven't managed to link is the font. So back to the console, let's see what's happening here. It says autoplay skipped. Okay, that's fine, because browsers these days don't accept autoplay, so we can't autoplay that. And what else? Script failed to load. Bootstrap. Okay, I don't know why it's still in quirks mode. Anyway, let's load Bootstrap, shall we? So I do have Bootstrap already collected here. I have a, where is that downloader? So we did download Bootstrap here and some Bootstrap examples. I hope I mentioned that we should download the Bootstrap examples as well, because we are going to need the admin section of Bootstrap. So there are some already created templates that come with Bootstrap, like the dashboard here and the sign in and login page. So we want to use those two. Still loading. So we're going to download the examples as well. So once we have that examples folder, yeah, this is what I was looking for. So this is the dashboard for the admin section. We want to use this, and this for the login and sign up. So go to getbootstrap.com, click on examples, and then download those examples. Once you download that, you're going to have a file like this one right here, examples and distribution. So let's just get the examples folder. I want to, the zip file, I'm saving it somewhere else for future use. I'll go to my assets, and then I will paste in there and extract it here. So I'll just say extract here, and it has extracted in there. Let me delete. Now the reason I've used just Bootstrap example, because I know it's got an assets folder, and then it's got the distribution, and then there's CSS and JS in there. So what I would do is I'll copy these two, CSS and JS, copy them, and then go to assets directly in here and create a folder named Bootstrap. Okay, this one contains the examples we use. We'll delete it after we get those two. Actually, we can actually do that now, but before I do that, let me make sure I paste those. So CSS and JS from Java, from Bootstrap, and as you can see, it contains the Bootstrap bundle.mean.js. So that's what we needed, which is what is being, which is what's missing down here. If you look, this is the Bootstrap bundle.js. So now we have it, which means we have it in assets and a folder named Bootstrap, and then in there we have a folder named CSS, and then, oh, actually it's in the JS folder. That's the one we're looking for, because this is for JavaScript. Great. This should solve the problem. Let's go back and see. If I refresh, you see there's no more complaint about it, but it's saying Oh, this one here cannot, so we don't need this o.min at the top here. It's complaining that it can't find it, which is this one, the old font awesome link. So let's remove that. This is the one we created ourselves locally. All right, so errors are reducing, and that is cool. We don't have that error. So this error here is for just saying we can't run an autoplay for this video that's supposed to autoplay, which is fine. The quirks mode though is weird because we do have the doc type. Maybe there's something weird going on there, but it's not a big deal, so don't worry about it. Okay, so with all this, everything is now set up. We are ready to start working. And let me go back to the Bootstrap, the assets folder. In the Bootstrap examples, the only examples we want to use are the dashboard, okay? And then what else? The sign-in. We don't want to use any of the others. So dashboard and sign-in page, those are the two. And then of course they are linked to the assets folder because that's where the assets are. So everything else is not needed. So I'm just going to invert the selection here by going to invert selection here so that it selects everything I haven't selected and then delete. Now we can delete these because we can always download them in case we messed up. So just these two I need and we are done. Okay, so back here while it's still deleting, this is what we have now. So now I can type /home and it will still load this page just like that. Okay, so quite a long preparation, but that's because this is not our template. We didn't create it ourselves. So we needed to make sure everything is connected as needed. Let me see here if I inspect to see if the font is really working. What is the font family here? Montserrat. So let me see if I remove it and see what happens. Okay, so it is actually working as intended. Okay, so the font is correct because when I remove it, I can see a difference. Even though, let me remove sans serif. Let me edit this. Maybe it's sans serif that is working. So let me remove sans serif for now. Trying to edit this. All right. So I don't see a difference, and if I do this, I do see a difference. Okay, so I was wrong. The font is actually working, and you can know it's working if you hover on it and it actually shows you some text from that font like that. Okay, cool. Now if you're unsure that it's working or not, you can always replace the font with a different file name. So the name doesn't really matter here. What matters is the actual file name. So for example, let me try and get a bold version just to show you that how things work. So assets, let me go to fonts and let's go to the static ones and let's look at this extra bold one. So I'm just going to rename this so I can copy its name, copy everything including the file extension, and then I will put it here. But then this is in the static folder, so I'll say /static/that. So if the fonts are actually working, we should see a difference, especially here. So let me refresh, and you can see now huge difference there to show that we have indeed loaded the font. So as you can see, you can load any font name there. You don't need to change the name and so on. As long as the file you've loaded is correct, that's what you can put any name here. It doesn't really matter. You don't have to put the name of the actual font. This is just the name that you will use in your document to reference this font that you have loaded. But I used this because that's what's used in the CSS just to match things up a little bit. So I won't do that. I think the first one was all right instead of this bold one. Okay, so at this point, we're ready to begin doing things. So let's block out the work that we want to do here, okay? All right, so if you look at this website, every time I click on one of these things, like for example, on the About section, it moves to that section. So in case you don't know how that works, it's actually very simple. how you can make your website do this. If you click on something and then it scrolls to a specific point, it's very easy. We can see that by inspecting the elements. So let me inspect, for example, events here. So I'm going to inspect. In fact, I don't need to inspect. I can just hover on events and look at the path that it shows down at the corner here. There is a hash event at the end, but we can still inspect so that we see that in real time. So I'm going to try and zoom this in right there. So you look at the path here. It's the home page essentially. Wait a minute. What is this? Public assets event. Why does it go to assets? This is oh, this is one thing I should actually change for all these paths. Sorry, my bad. Let's see here. We are lucky that this is a single page thing. You see, these are links and not assets really. So we don't need this /assets on these. But the point I'm trying to make is, if I remove this here on all these here, because I know these are all links, I remove that. All right. And save. So there's home, about, and then here there's event. These ones, let me remove those as well. We don't need the assets thingy. This should still work as intended. Let me refresh. Let me click on event, and it does actually move to the event section. So the way it works is that when you put a hash and put some text here on a link, what the browser will do when you click that link is it will look for a div or an element that has this ID event, and then it will scroll to that element. It's as simple as that. So for example, if I try to find this event, so you see there's an ID event here. Now if I change it for some reason so that there's no more item named event, and then I refresh the page, you will notice that if I click on event, it doesn't take me anywhere because it can't find that item. So if I undo, you'll see that it will work. And there it is. So if I move this ID to some different item altogether, let's go to the gallery here. Instead of ID gallery, let's change that with event so that we see event should take us to the gallery instead. So if I click on event, it has taken us to the gallery. So that's how you match those two. Very simple and straightforward. So I'm undoing here to make sure we don't mess that up. Okay, so that's one thing out of the way. Now on top of that, what we have to do is put an admin section where you can go and add content from that. Instead of typing the content directly here, we can just add it in the admin section. All right, so every piece of content here we can do that, from the links to each person's bio here, the groom and the bride, etc. We can add those from the admin section. So because each section here is an actual thing that requires content to be added, this is exactly how our admin section will look. We'll have an about section, story, gallery, family, and then each one of those will be able to add this information. So as you can see here on this about section, since this is the first part, on this one, we need an image for the groom and then a title. So there's the groom. This is the groom section, and we need an image for the groom and some description here, some text, and then the groom's name, and then there are links here. So we should make way for all of this. Okay, so what we can do instead is we can just put a title, which is the groom, because maybe we want to change this as well. So we just put title, and then we'll put description, and we'll put name, and then we'll put social links, right? You may want to change this as well, the icon, no problem, we'll do that. And then you need to add an image. So same thing here, you may want all of this editable from the admin section. That's what we're gonna do. Same thing here on the story, similar thing, an image, some description, a date, and all that. So all we need to do is look at the fields that are available here and add them to that section. All right, great. So let's create our admin section now. Now to do that, we're just going to go to our examples as stated. So I'll go back here to our assets folder. And if I go to Bootstrap examples and go to my admin section here, and if I open that, this is what we see. So this is how our admin section will look like with our content on the other side. So what I would do is let's go to Bootstrap here, because the icons on the admin section are running with Bootstrap. So we're going to need to know what icons to use. So I'll click on Bootstrap icons here. We'll have it handy. Just always have it open here so you can search for a specific icon that you want here. Okay, no problem. So with that in mind, let's add an admin section, shall we? So to do that, we need to add an admin controller. So let's go back to our MVC here. All right, let's close down the public side. Let's go to our controller. So like I said, when you want to create a new page, all you have to do is select, copy what's in the home controller, no biggie, go to controller, create a new file. Make sure you rename. This search should be case sensitive. So this is not the home class, this is the admin class now, and it will take us to the admin page. And then here we'll have to rename it to admin controller like this. And then save it as admin, capitalized A.php, save that. Great. Let's go to our views. Same thing. Let's add an admin view. Let's save that and just save it as admin.view.php. Save. So just so we see we are on the admin page, I'll just do that and say admin page so that we see when we are there. So save that and good. So if I come back and instead of home, I do /admin. So what I'll do is we need a way to go to the admin section. I think the footer is a better place to add this because this is not a public, it's not meant for the public to actually log in or something. So we can hide that login page somewhere. Let's see here. I can just put a link somewhere, right here maybe. And this one, every link should have root in it, and then /admin. And then we should say admin like that. Okay, save. So I'll refresh, and where is it? There is it. It's down here all the way down there. So not good at all. So wrong place. I'm just going to click here. This is for the back to the top, I guess. So I'll put it in here where these others are. So mess around with it and see what works best for you. Let me put a space and that pipe to separate the two. Let me see that. Okay, not enough space. There's that non, if you do this, non-breakable space like that. So this is a space in HTML. So let me refresh, and yep, it worked wonders. So maybe I should put the same on the other side as well. Let's see that. Okay, great. So if I now click on admin, there we see we have our admin page. Very nice. If I go back, this is what I get. Okay, we are one step closer. Yes. Now let's load our actual admin page as a template there. So I'm going to go to the Bootstrap examples dashboard, and this is where the HTML is, but we're going to need all this CSS in there. Okay, so we don't need the right to left unless that's what you're using. So instead we'll get dashboard CSS, dashboard JS. So I'll copy these guys into CSS folder. So there's dashboard CSS. I'll move the JS into the JS folder. Okay, cool. Nice. Okay, now if I come back here, I know this Bootstrap example is in this folder, dashboard. So I'll click on the HTML, copy everything from there, and paste it on the admin view. Select all, paste, and save. Okay. So now if I click on admin, this is what I see. But just like usual, we have to relink everything. So let's go to the top. I don't need this. Now, when it comes to the title and stuff, let me put admin here. But here, instead of Bootstrap, let's put the actual name of our site. Now, if you remember in core, there's this config file. So in here, I defined an app name and an app description. So here, I'll just call my wedding day or something. I don't know. You can just call it my wedding. Then here, just write a description, best day ever, exclamation point. So at least now I have two constants I can use, app name and description. So copy that. Let's go to the admin. And here I can just echo the app name like that. Okay. And we don't need these authors. We don't need the generator. We need the description maybe. So I'll just copy this and put that there and change that to description, which is the actual name. Very nice. And then there's this bootstrap.mean.css, which is supposed to be inside assets, distribution, CSS. So let's try and find it. So this is in the Bootstrap examples file because it's being referenced in the dist and CSS. So there it is, bootstrap.mean.css. So that's all we need. Let's copy that assets. Let's take it into, maybe let's put it in Bootstrap CSS. Oh, it's actually already here. This is cool. I already copied it, so nice. So what we'll do is let's just put the root here, /assets/bootstrap. That's the file name, the folder name, sorry. Copy /bootstrap/css/bootstrap.mean.css. Okay, that's cool. Then there's also this dashboard.css. Where did we put that? So this one is inside assets, CSS, dashboard.css. So great. Again, let's use root /assets/CSS like that. Okay. So let's try this. Let's refresh, and things are looking great. There's a thing missing here, and that's because we haven't loaded chart.js. Let me go down here. We haven't loaded the bundle. I don't think we need it though. Do we need it? No, I don't think we do. Okay. And and then this down here is a CDN. So you need internet for this. So it's the feather for animating the chart, and then there's chart.js as well here, chart.js. So we don't need these two because we're not going to be using charts anyway. So I'll remove those. And then what I'll do is I'll go and remove the canvas, which was being used to add the the chart. So where is that? So there's canvas right here. Let's delete that. Okay, so back here, refresh. Everything has moved up, but I want this section clean. So section title, and I want to remove everything here. I want to start adding my own content. So here where there's section title, I know this is the point. So up to down here before main, let's remove that div and the table. So up, up, up. Let's remove section title as well. So in here is where we're going to put our content. So I'll go to put div, just put a class of content, just so we know this is the main content. And then let's refresh. Okay, so whatever I put in here now will show up in here, right there. Okay, cool. Now, if you notice they're missing icons here, and that's because Bootstrap uses its own icon system. So here where I clicked on Bootstrap icons, right there, you can click on current version here, and then it will take you to a GitHub repository, or you can just click here, and then you can download the current version. So this one is 1.9.1. I think I already have this. There's Bootstrap icons right here, 1.19. So once you download it, you will have it as well. So let's put that inside assets and paste. So Bootstrap icons. So I'm just going to extract here. So it's going to extract to Bootstrap icons. Now I can delete the zip folder, open that, and this is what I have. Now in Bootstrap icons, I'm just going to rename this to be shorter into icons. Simple and straightforward. Come back here. Now you may want to use the SVG files because these are just like images, right? But I don't want to use those. I want to use the let's see what's being used in here really. What's being used? So on the dashboard, there should be, it's actually using something else. It's using data feather. Oh, so that's what the feather is for. These were icons. Not cool, not cool at all. But anyway, no problem. Will you replace with our own? So what I will do instead is, where are we? I'm lost now. What was I doing? What was I doing? I think I was in the icons folder. Okay, so what I'm looking for is the CSS file. That's all. So let's look for that .css. I missed it somewhere here. There it is. So all these that are not SVGs, just select them. I don't need the JSON, all these. I just need the CSS actually. So select that bootstrap-icons.css. Also select the fonts. Then select invert selection, which means delete everything else that isn't the fonts folder and isn't the CSS file either. So delete. Great. So all our icons we'll use the font version instead with the CSS file. So all we need to do is include the CSS file and we are home and dry. So I'll do rename so I can copy its name and look at the path, which is assets icons. So back to the admin view, where are we here? I want to include some icons. So I can include them right here, just after the, either there or in the head. Oh, this is still the head, right? Yes, it is. But let's just add it here. So instead of this, we'll go to icons. And then there's the bootstrap icons.css. Finish. So refreshing, you won't see anything change. But let's try and add a dashboard icon here. So I'm going to go to where it says bootstrap icons on the web, and there's a list of icons down here. So you can just look at them and look at the name, but you can also search here. It's a quick search. I'll do admin, it's not there. Let's try shield. Okay, so there's a nice shield here. I don't know, maybe this one, shield lock fill. I like this one. So let's copy that name. So let's go to where it says dashboard. Instead of this, let's replace that with an I tag. Now, you don't need to use an I tag. You can use a span, no problem. All we need really is the class name. And let's change that class to BI for bootstrap icon, and then BI shield lock dash fill. I think that's a name if I remember correctly. Shield lock fill. Great. So with that, we should see an icon here, and we do. Look at that. Very nice. So that way we can put more icons here. Now I don't need any of these, the rest of these. I can just copy this one. So I'll delete these, and then I'll need one more down here after save reports. So from here, what I can do, this one is current page and there's active there. So just remember that the active one has active. But let's delete these other links, orders, products. Just make sure you, once you delete a list element, delete its closing tag, open tag, closing tag. Make sure you're doing that. So let's remove this one as well. And finally this one. Don't remove the closing unordered list, that one. Saved reports, I'll just change this to other. Or here I can put other links, yeah, other links. And then I can leave one item in here and delete the rest. So delete this one, delete that one, and delete this one. On this current month, I just want to do the front page, or front end, I think better. So this one would take us to the front side. Let me remove this data feather. Anyway, it's not a big deal. There's only like 2 of these. So I'll change this one to BI, to put a bootstrap icon instead, BI-BI. And then what icon can I put here? Globe. There's one called globe. So I will refresh, and there we go. So globe, front end, and dashboard. There, 2 links which I can duplicate. And then if we check our website, these are the items we're going to have. So there's the about, there's the story, and gallery. So let's start with about, story, gallery. So I'm going to go to here after dashboard. So that's the main dashboard. We'll leave it at that. Here on the path, I don't need this. Oops. Ended up deleting too much. So here, I want this to be root / admin. Okay, great. So now I want to duplicate this guy. Let me do this. Oh no. Oh no, these will never match, will they? So let me just take them to the edge of the world and then tab them again. Okay, great. That way I can duplicate. So this one is about section. Oh, what was the next one? Story, gallery. Okay, so even here, admin / gallery. Here, admin / story. And then here, admin / about. Okay, cool. So with that, we have items here. Let's add some more. There's a family, event, RSVP, and contact. So family, event. So 3 more. Let me duplicate them like this. Duplicate is Ctrl-Shift-D. On some systems, it's just Shift-D. So here there is family. Oh wait. Oh wait, where did I oh my god, gallery, there's a boat, okay, it's right there. So that's family event. I almost got lost there. RSVP, and then finally contact. Okay, so contact. All right, so let's change the links to this as well. Let's say contact. And then RSVP, there's event there. And then there's family and gallery. Okay, so all the links are good to go. So each one of these is where we'll change something. So let's change our icons so they match what we want here. Is there one for family? No. Is there one for people? Let's see. Seems like there is. So this looks like representation of family, so I will use that. Person, hearts. So where is that family? So we just need to change that and say person, hearts. What about event? Okay, so event, calendar, of course, calendar event. So let's do that. All right, and then RSVP, maybe a letter. Let's put a letter there. Maybe envelope heart. Let's try that. So you can choose whichever you want, of course. Envelope dash heart. All right. Contact, maybe a phone. Which one is better? I think just these ones look more like telephone. Let me try that. Telephone view. All right, so let's try and see how those look. And as you can see, much better. Gallery, let's try gallery. Gallery usually is for images, so let's try image. Multi-images, so images, simple as that. So images. What about story? Clock history, maybe that makes sense actually. Then about. Wow, this one is quite long. File, earmark, person. So let's try that. File, earmark, person, field. That's quite the long one there. Yes, let's refresh, and there we go. So we are looking good now. At least we have proper items here. Very cool. Now the thing is, we can add a active status here so that we see which one we have clicked. So right click and let me inspect this element. I want to add some few things here. So I'm just going to go to the element itself. Let's add a background color to it. Background color. I'll do red, and you can see that there's red there, but that's not what we'll put. I just want a way to edit it in real time. So I can click on that and start editing. Now keep in mind that you can always change the color to white so that I'm trying to make the active status here. So I think I kind of like this. So I'm going to copy that, close it. Once I refresh, everything is gone. But right at the top here where we have styles, what I can do is put dot active. Yeah. Let's put background color there, and then color white. Now I don't want this to be just any active place. I want it specifically inside here. So I'll say contain, I'll say nav, because this is very specific to this. It has to be. Or I can say sidebar menu. So let's use that class. So I'll do dot sidebar menu active. Okay. That way when I refresh, wait a minute, there is dot sidebar. Where is this? Oh, it's an ID here. Forgot that. So let's put a hash instead. Okay. Oh, there we go. Everything is active, which is not cool. So let's remove this active status from everyone except one. So delete, and let's go back to just the first one and add active. All right, very cool. Now we need it so that once we click on one of these and go to, as you can see, the URLs are changing there, which is nice. So what I want is just to be able to change the active status. So I can use some simple JavaScript to do that. Now you don't need to use JavaScript. You can simply check to see if the root, the current path here is similar to that, and then echo out active there. But I think it's much easier to use JavaScript. So let's do that. What I'm going to do is I'll tell JavaScript to grab all list items from the class nav. Actually grab all A tags because they're the ones that have active in them. Okay, so it will grab all A tags and then check the href. If this current href matches what's inside the browser's href, then it should mark this as active. But first, what it should do, actually, let's just see that in action. So I'm just going to go to the very end and put a script tag right here. Now you can put this anywhere, even at the end. It's not so critical, so we can live without it. So let's just put it at the end. So right at the end, I'll just call this one. Actually, I'll just not put it in the function because I want it to run immediately the page loads. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just say let links be equal to, so let's go document.querySelector, querySelector all. I want to select all A tags inside the .nav. So say .nav dot, no, not dot, but A, like that. So this one will select all A tags inside the class name A. And then if that happens, let's do a for loop in here. So I'm just going to do for and say links. So I'm going through all the links and then just checking to see what's going on. So say if window dot location dot href. So if the window.location.href is equal to the current link that we are looping through dot source, because that's the A tag, if those two things are equal, then let's add a active status to that particular A tag. So I'll just say that's the A tag dot class list dot add active, like that. Simple and straightforward. So let's refresh and see if this works. Doesn't seem to work at all. Let's go to page, no, not the page source, sorry, the inspector. Let's see if there are any errors in the console, right? So it's saying syntax error unidentified. Okay, so this is coming from the bundle, min.bundle. So what's going on here? This is what's causing problems. So was loaded even though its MIME type is blah, blah, blah. Templates, bundle.meme.js. Assets, dist. Nah, this isn't right. So I think the bundle is, oh, right there. So this is the problem. So let's remove this guy. We don't need this guy at all. If we needed that, we would put a proper link. The problem was that it wasn't linking to anything useful. So that error is gone. Thank God. Let's click on this. That doesn't seem to work. So let's confirm what's going on here. So what I'll do is, let me just go to make sure I remove the active status from the first one so that we have no active status for now, like that. Now let me see what it came up with. So I'm just going to do a console.log right here after this. Console.log links so that I see what's inside that links thing. So let's refresh, inspect, go to the console. Okay, so it did actually get all the A tags. As you can see here, there's the admin, about, so it actually captured them. So, which is cool. But now, what's in here? Is it equal? Let's see gallery right now. So why aren't they equal? So I'll do a console.log of the links, and then I'll do a console.log of window.href so that I see the difference if none of them are actually matching. So this is the current link, this one. So does it match this one? Yes, it does. So why isn't it doing its thing? So if is equal to link.source. So what we would do is, I'll just put a console.log right here so that if I see it, then I know at least one of them matched. But it seems it didn't. What's happening? Okay, let me undo that. Let me move the console.log here and then do this link i.source. Oh, sorry, this is my bad. An A tag doesn't have a source, it has an href. Ugh. Incredible how I can miss such a simple thing. Okay, great, there you go. So it's as simple as that. So if I click on this, very simple script to do that. Okay, good. So things are working out now. Now we just need to add some content and start adding some actual PHP. But before that, we do need a sign up page. Also, there's company name there. So let's change that real quick. So I'm just going to go and find where company name is. So instead of that, we should obviously echo our app name. And then we echo the root here. Root. So it can take us to the front page if we want to. So my wedding day, that's the one. Sign out. Sign out should also take us to the sign out page. So let's add root over there. We haven't created our sign up page yet, but we will. It will be called logout. Okay, cool. And then what I've done in here, where I've put the title and admin, these two, I want to copy that to the front page as well. So home page. Let's go up here, and let's remove whatever we don't need. So I've pasted new description and new title. So app name and app description, both of those should be together. So I'll put app description here. put the spacer there, and remove this part here, remove that title, and you can put some keywords if you want, no problem. So back here, oops, what has happened? What have happened? Okay, wrong place. Let me just click here to go to the front end. Okay, so that link isn't made. Where is that? Quickly, front end right here. Let's put our root. That's all. That's all we need for the front end. So let me click. Okay, there we go to our front end. Very nice. So now at least we have a good title, My Wedding Day, Best Day Ever, which you can edit and change. And then if we can go to the admin, we are here and we can do all this. But we also need to be able to log in to come to the admin. We just don't want to jump into the admin section. So we need a login page. So very quickly, we're going to do exactly the same steps. I'm going to go to my controller. There's home controller, copy that. Go to controllers, create a new file in there. And this one will be the login, right? Login class. So capital L login.php. Good. And login page. Great. Let's go to where is this? Views. New file. Save. Login.view.php. Save. Okay, so this one I want to just say h1 and say login page, just so we can see that things are happening. And we need a way to know that somebody isn't logged in. So here we'll go to the admin.php, and here what I will do is I'll just say redirect to the login page like that. Now redirect works because there's a function we created in here called redirect, but the actual code is this one for redirecting. So keep that in mind. So if I refresh, login.php, so no such file or directory exists. So it's looking for the login.php model. Excuse me. So now this is because we haven't named it appropriately here. So don't forget to change the class name. So refresh, and there we go. So we have our login page here. Now, of course, we want to use the Bootstrap version. So no problem, no biggie. It's in here in Bootstrap examples and inside the sign in page. So right, say open folder and open this so we can see it, and it looks something like this. So let's create our own version. So I'll grab the index.html, copy everything, go to login view, select, paste, and save. So with that, if I now refresh, I get this, but this doesn't look too good. First of all, we need to load the dependencies. So I'll remove this. This is, I'll just call this one the login page. Then I can remove what I don't need. And then here I can put the app name. All right, and there's Bootstrap here that we need. So Bootstrap we have, it's inside root /assets / it's in the Bootstrap folder, yes. So we'll just copy, instead of dist, let's put Bootstrap there, and let's do that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so it worked, but keep in mind there's another CSS file there. It's signin.css. So we need to copy that one. So I'm going to go to that same folder, copy the CSS file back into public assets CSS and paste it in here. So let's change the link. I'll copy this up to assets. It's loaded right here. So paste and CSS/sign in. Great. This one here is a bootstrap icon. So it's an SVG instead, but let's see if we can find a similar one. Let's just add a different one. Let's just add people. That's what I'll add here. So instead of that bootstrap icon here, let's replace this with an I tag. Oops. Okay. Let's put a class and say bi people. You know, I shouldn't have deleted the other one so that I can copy any other. Okay, so that's not working because we haven't loaded the bootstraps. Inside assets, we have the icons folder. We haven't loaded the icons, so that's why. So it's bootstrap-icon. That's the file name. So we should load that icon, and there it is. So these are quite small. So what I'll do is I can change the font size with Bootstrap, since we're using Bootstrap, and put it at 1, which is like having the font size of a H1 tag. Okay, there we go. So please sign in. There we go. And yeah, things are looking up. So with this, we can sign in and then go to the admin section. But let me go back to the admin section for a second and remove that. From the login page, I want to be able to go back and forth. So I'll put an A tag here. That's just for the home page. Just in case I need to go back home, so I can just click home. Okay, there we go. And then go to the end here. I want to go to the admin. There should be a users section here. So let's add that before we go any further. So before the about section, I will duplicate this. This is in the admin view. So the first one should be users. Those people authorized to do to edit this section. So I've added a new one, user, and then if I click on there, it follows that. Okay, very cool. Alrighty then, so let's add some users so we can actually log in as an admin and start adding content. Alright, now instead of using our creating a sign up page, we're just going to add users directly here. Now, since we can only add users as an existing user, let's create a user before we create the mechanism to restrict user access here. So before we restrict user access, let's make one user at least. Now, the thing is, as I move these pages, you notice that this text remains. So as you can see here, nothing changes. So we need a simple routing system to adjust the page and give it a separate page whenever we do this. So the thing is, in our views, so that's just a part where we can adjust the views, right? So what we can do is, if I close this area here, oh, by the way, we can now delete the Bootstrap examples folder because we don't need that anymore. So right click and delete folder. That's Bootstrap examples from there. Okay, great. since we've already taken the two files that were there that we were supposed to use. So in the views here, what I want to do is create a folder for my admin area. So I'm just going to say admin. So that's a new folder in the views folder there. And then I'm going to create a new file. Now here I will call this one dashboard and save this one. So this one will be dashboard .view.php and save it. So it has the text dashboard in there so that we know when we click on it. Then I'm going to go to the admin view here. Okay. Now what I want to do is, because at the end of the admin section there is one variable here, okay, called user, and this is what will determine which function we actually use, because this is how the MVC system works. So the way it works is that the first item determines the page we access, which is the controller. So in this case, the first one is admin, and then the second parameter determines which of the functions we actually access. So if I were to duplicate this function, for example, this is in the admin controller, right? This function can be called user. Actually, users. That's what it should be there, not just user, but users. So let's go back to the admin view and adjust that. So users, let's put that as great. Now it doesn't have to be like that, it's just what I want. And so what happens is that in the admin controller here, then we can load a very different view down here as opposed to when we are in the index, which is the dashboard. All right, so we can load a very different view over here. Now the only issue is, regardless what view we are on, we need this admin view, what's this, this overall. The only thing we want to change is this central part here. We don't want to change this, we don't want to change that, we just want to keep updating this. So which will mean we'll need to reload exactly the same page. We can do it in two ways. The first way is that we can put this the same way we load the same header over several pages. We put those in separate pages and then we load it as a header and footer. Or what we can do is reload exactly the same page here and just give it a different file. Just give it the file name to load over here. So I kind of like that better, even though it's not really necessary to do that, but which means we would need to get rid of the admin page itself here. So we can have this part, you see this part here as the header, and then we can have this part at the bottom as the footer. Okay, so let's see that in action. Maybe we should do it that way. That could reduce the ambiguity of what the admin view is doing. So let's try that. So I'm going to go in here and put a new file, save this as header. Now to be sure, you can just call it admin-header .view.php. I'll copy that and save it. Then we can have another one and save this one as admin.footer, admin-footer. All right. So which means we don't need this admin view page anymore, but we still need to copy this code. So I'll cut this and paste it in the footer. Let me remove that text I had put there. And then I'll go to the header as well and go back to this admin page, grab everything above it, cut and paste here. I could have just copied anyway. So now, which means I don't need the admin view page anymore. So I can delete it. No, do not save changes, just delete. Now the problem is in the admin controller now, we are referencing a page that does not exist. So instead, what we're going to do here is reference something that should exist. So I'll say admin/dashboard, like that. Okay. And then down here, we should have admin/users. So if we go to the admin, we do have admin-dashboard here. So let's try that. So you see the problem is we do load the dashboard page, but it doesn't have our header and footer. So all we need to do now is remember that everything is happening inside this class. So even when we load a view, this view is within this class. So we can still use this view, okay, right there. So let me just copy that. So if I go to my, where is this? Dashboard view, that's the one. I can do this. Now this is HTML, so I have to put my PHP tags like so, and then close that. And then here, it's going to be admin header dash header, because that's what we named the file. I'll copy this and put it down here as the admin footer, like so. So let's see how things change with that. And there we go. So we have our dashboard there, pretty cool. But the rest, view not found. Okay. So there we go. So with that, we can now put dashboard related stuff here. Now all I need to do is copy this and put that in another file called users. And we're good to go. So now it's users.view.php. So click on that and there we go. Okay. So if you want, you can make one for the file that does not exist, but if it does not exist, it still goes to the, where is this? The admin. Actually, it should always go to the dashboard. Why is it going? Okay, yeah, it is. So if a file does not exist, one of these do not exist, it goes to the dashboard instead. Okay, so which is good. So dashboard users. There we go. So now let's create our users list here so we can add new users, etc., etc. So in order to be able to add a user, we need a database. So we're going to go and create one. So we go to localhost/php my admin. So type localhost/php my admin as one word, and you should see something that looks like this. So now we can create a database using PHP code directly from here. Now the only problem with that is that online servers do not allow you to do that. So you cannot use code to create your databases. You have to manually create them, but you can create tables using PHP. So we're going to do that. So here we just create a database. So click on new here and say, we just call it, just to be specific, you can call it anything you want. It'll be Jack and Rose underscore DB. So you can call this DB anything. Just copy the name, hit create, and we have a database, but we have no tables here. But in order to be better coders, we're going to use code to create the tables. So what I want with that database name is to go to the config, and right here where it says database name, let's put that database there. Oh wait, this is for the online version, but it doesn't matter. I'll repeat that there. Okay, great. Now if you're using MUMP, your password might be root as well. So now we are having a connection. We can make a connection to our database because we do have a database there, but we have no tables. So the best thing to create tables for us is the model itself, because the model is what connects to that table. So it should know the table a little bit better, right? Now let's look at the columns we're going to need here. We may need an email. Let's put a username as well, just for the heck of it. We can put age, gender, and so on, but this is good enough for now. We just need username, email, and password, just so we can log in and do something. Maybe you may want to put rows, user rows, and all that, so you can put a row column to determine what row somebody is. But I don't think we'll need that for this simple website. The table name will be users, so that's fine. Now in here we can create as many functions as we need. So for now, I'm just going to create a public function, and I'll call it create tables with an underscore. Actually, it should be create table, since this model is specific to one table. So here we're going to create a query. Now remember that this model itself contains all the functions that access the database. So in order to access them, we just need to use this keyword to access all the functions. Now just a refresher, if we go to the models.php inside core, you will see all the functions we can access. There's obviously the insert function we can use, or the query function we can use, that's inside the database trait over here. So we can use all those functions from both database trait and model trait as well. So here I'm going to say create table. Now in here I'm just going to create a query, and from that query we can create our table. So to create a table, you simply type create table and that table name, but we want it to confirm that it doesn't exist before trying to create it. So we say create table if not exists users. So this is the name of the table right there, and then you have open and close bracket to give us all the details of the column names and such. So what we will do here is we'll type the column names. The first one is ID, of course. It's of type int, and it knows that int is of length 11. So we don't need to specify, but you can if you want, like this, or if you want it smaller, you can specify a smaller number. Now this one will be the primary key. So we type primary key. We also want it to be auto increment so that it can increment on its own when we add records. Then put a comma. So we also need a username. Now username will be of type variable character, and this one we must specify a length of those characters. Username I think can be 30 characters long. That should be the limit. And then here we can say not null to make sure that it doesn't accept empty values for username. And then we can do password as well. Password is also a variable character. Now this one will put 255 because we're not sure. We're going to use the auto PHP encryptor to encrypt this password. So we don't really, we just need to leave enough space for the password to fit. So this one should not be null either. And then we can have email. It's also a variable character, maybe 100 characters should do. This one should not be empty either. Then here we can put some keys if we want, so that some columns are easier to search. So for example, we may want to search for email because, you know, email is what we use when trying to log in, so that should be important. But username, really, we're not, unless users will be searching for each other, then you can put a key there as well. But so far there is a primary key, but we can add more keys here by simply adding them like that. This is the column name of the key you're adding, and this is the name of the key. So this can be different as long as the column name matches the actual column. This one can be anything really, that will just be the name of the key. Now since we're not putting more, I'll remove the comma at the end like that, and this is all we need to actually create a table. Then now we can run this query by just using this and saying query, and then sending that query in there, and this should be it. So with this we should be able to create a table. Simple as that. So once we create a table, there's also validation of data. Once we start, we want to install, we want to sign up. That's what I was going for. So maybe there's accepting of terms and conditions, but in this case, because we're not asking the general public to sign up, we'll just be creating our records ourselves. No need to accept terms and conditions. So what we might want to check for though is the what might we want to check for? We might want to check for the username. The username should not be empty. So let me duplicate this and change this to username. So say username is required if it's empty. Okay, and then we must also check to see that username is in the correct format, right? So if I duplicate this, remove the else at the end, we can actually put a regular expression to make sure that nobody uses numbers in their username, if that's what you want, that is. So you can use preg match like this and put a pattern here, and the subject is this one. So put a not preg match. So username can only have letters, and maybe you can put numbers as well, but not symbols. So here we can say A to Z, capital A to capital Z, and close that. And let's put a plus and a $sign there and a caret at the beginning. So this is to make sure from the start we measure and to the end. And then this one, any number of characters, we shouldn't limit the number of characters there. But if you want a specific number of characters, maybe you don't want the username to exceed a certain number, you can put that in brackets and say 30 like this, and then put a comma. That should be like 30 and above, I guess. Or if you want a minimum, like a minimum of 3, maximum of 30, you can do this. So here to mean the username cannot be below 3 characters and cannot be above that. So those are options, but I'll just put plus to say any number of characters, at least 1 character or more. Okay, great. So with that, if you want to include numbers, of course you can put 0 to 9. If you want to include spaces, just leave a space there. That's up to you. All right, so everything is validated. The password required, the username, and the email. But also, we may want to validate the email and check to see if an email of that kind exists already. So in that case, we may need to know the ID of, because when the user is editing their email and then they save the file, it will have their email will already exist in the database. So if they save again, it will tell them your email already exists, even though it's theirs. So we should account for that by just putting an ID there and then setting it to maybe a null like this, so that when we need the ID, if the ID is available, then let's check to confirm that the email, if the ID is not available, then that's when we should check for the email. So if the ID is empty, which means it's a new record, then let's check to see if the email is not in use. So we'll say if not ID and something like that. Then let's put our else statement there, and then let's do this, put that there. Email is already in use. So here I want to use this keyword and then use first. So I want to, oh wait, let's go to model here. Sorry about that. There's something I need to check. Okay, so there's data not and data. So good. So the email, so we are looking for where the email will be equal to this data email, but the ID though, so we need to put a second array for data not. So hopefully you understand what's going on here. We can put, using this function, we can read from the database by just putting in our array the things we want to match in the database and the things we don't want to match in the database. So that's what this function does. We're using the one that says first because it returns the first result only, just one result. That's all we need. So data and data not. So here I'm telling it that I want to find a record with an email of what the user has supplied. Also, that should not have an ID equal to whatever ID was supplied here. So in there. So if it's not the same ID and the same email, then it's indefinitely in use. But if there's an ID that was given, so if, wait, so this is wrong. So I should say if ID, so if an ID was given, then let's check. Actually, wait a second. I said we should only, yeah, we should check actually either way. Because it's also possible that, yeah, actually we should check either way. So let's do that. I think I'll leave it like that. Either way we should check. Because it's also possible that you're editing and you edit the email and edit it to some email that already exists. So we shouldn't have that. Anyway, if it doesn't work out, we'll come back and edit it. Okay, great. So this is good. Now let's create a table to, let's see here. There's 1, 2, 3. There's an email, password. Did I put password there? Username, ID. Okay, great. Everything seems fine. So now what we need to do is go to our, everything is ready here. Let's go to our admin section here, reload the page so that we can create our table. So here all I'm going to do is say user is equal to new user to load that user model here. That's what we are loading. So the MVC system already knows that when you instantiate a class, it should look for it in the models folder. So it will look for it there and load it. So once it's loaded, then we can run that function to create a table. So we'll say create table like that. Okay, great. So all we need to do is refresh the page and it should do its work. Now, if I check my Jack and Rose DB, there are no tables in this database. So if I click here, I won't see anything. But if I refresh my page, just once is enough. If I click, oops, no tables still. So something did not go right here. So let's see. That's because I'm on the users. I should be on the dashboard. So let me click on the dashboard. That should work. That's because I've added this to the dashboard function. So it was going to this function instead. So if I now check, I should have a table at least. And there it is. There's a users table. If I click, there it is. I can check the structure of things in there. And this is how it looks like. So there's a key for email and the ID. Okay, so this is good enough. I'm satisfied with this. Even though if I can rerun this and it won't cause an error because we are checking if it exists. Now I can remove the create table part. Nice. Now what I want to do is on the user side, let me grab this and put it here, is I want to read all users. So here I'm just going to say rows is equal to user, and then instead of maybe find all, what I can do is just say where. Actually, I can use find all like that. So this find all function comes from model.php. If you look here, it's right there, find all, and then it will load everything. Everything is there. We can change how many we actually, these guys should not be protected. I don't know why I used protected here. So change this, all of these guys to public. This was weird. So these guys should be public so that we can access them from the outside. So we can change how many records, what record number we are limited to, and the offset, etc., etc. So for pagination, but we won't be needing these guys anyway because we won't be having that many records anyway. So this is fine. I'm getting too many files here, so let me close all files first. Back to the admin section. So here find all, and then we load the users page. So let me go to admin users here, and then here I want to create a table. So I'm just going to put maybe an h3 so that we have a title here, users. Then if I go to the admin header, and instead of where it says dashboard here, we can say admin instead. Where is that? Where exactly is that? There's a part that says dashboard, that right here. So let's just say admin. Okay, this one right here. So there we go, admin. Now dashboard down here, but let's go to the users section here. So if I click on users, I see users there. Then let's put a table instead. So I'll just go put a table like that. Put a few classes, table striped, and table, I don't know, that's up to you what you want to do here, bordered. Is this correct spelling? I have no idea. Okay, so these are bootstrap classes, of course. Now what I want is let's add a few things here, like headers, table header. So let me lower this, lower that. Here I'll put a number sign for the user ID, and then there's just a few columns here. So there's username, there's email. This is all really that we need, and then there's action here, what we can do, and that's about it. So back here, if I do this, this is what I get: username, email, and action. So if there are any results from the rows, let's show them here. So for now, I'm just going to say, put some PHP tags and say if not empty rows. So if there are some rows, let's end that if statement. So we'll say end if. Now I'll duplicate this. Sorry about that. Duplicate and duplicate that and move that inward. Let's move that as well while we're at it. Let's change this to a for each. So end for each here, for each rows, because now we know they exist as single row. So we're just going through each row like that and then showing some data. So here we change this table head to TD for table data. And in here now we can echo these guys one by one. So for example here, this will be row ID, and I can easily just copy that, put it here for username. And then let's put that here for email as well. And then action will be empty. Or we can just add a button here for add new. Let's add a button. Actually, no. Here we add a button for edit and delete, right? Then we can put classes here. Button primary, maybe. Delete maybe could be danger. Or we can use icons instead. So we can do that, but at the top here there's, let's see, action. What can we do? Maybe on this one I can add a button and call it new button, like that, and then add some classes like button and button primary. So let's see what we've got. Okay, so new user here. We don't have any records, it seems, but also keep in mind that in the admin section here, we didn't supply any data here, so we need to do that. So data there, actually wrong place. Let me do this here. So I'll put this inside data like so that I have something inside data to send there. Okay. All right. So great. Let me refresh. Now, when I click new, it should take me to admin/users/new. And that should mean something. So let's go to the admin, the users view right here. So let me lower this. Let's do that, and let's do this here as well. Let's put a link to this guy. Let's do root like that, /admin/users/new, or you can call it add. It's up to you. Let's move that here like so. Okay, cool. So now we can go to new, and that should mean something. So that should be the action. So with this in mind, since we now know that we're going to have actions as well, this should only show when we are not adding a user. I don't want to create separate pages for the add, edit, and delete. I want to use the same page here for simplicity, so I can copy to other sections as well. So what I'll do is I'll just put an if statement here, say PHP, and say if action is equal to new, like that, then we'll do something here. Okay, so I will duplicate this, put it here, put an else statement. So new, edit, duplicate that, delete. Okay, so those are the things: new, edit, delete. And let's close with an if statement here as well, because those are if statements, they should be closed. let's put an else statement here, like so. All right, so if there's new, edit, delete, else. So here I can just put some text and say new. Here let's say edit. Here let's say delete, so that you can see the difference. Now, where will this action come from, this variable? So let's create it. So we're going to go to the admin view here. So when I'm in users here, like the way we created the MVC is that if we have, let's say, admin represents the page and users represents the function, anything that comes after that will be passed here. So here we're just going to call this one action like this, but it won't always be there. So we'll set it to an empty string like that. Okay, so that when it's not available, we still have a default value, which is empty string. Or if you want, yeah, actually an empty string is fine. So action, we want to send it as well to the view page so that it can do this if else and check if action is equal to something, right? So here I'm going to say data action is equal to action. So the reason we're adding it to data, because in order to pass information to, because this view file is in another function, so in order to pass information we have to send it through an array here. So that's why we are adding things to that array, the data array like that. So we are sending our rows, we are also sending what action we are on down there. So let's see if this will work out. So if now I click on new, let's click there. Oh, okay, look at that. And define variable action on line 3. So it doesn't know what action is, which is weird because we sent it. Yes, we did. So admin users. Why? There's action there. I'm not sure why it doesn't know. Why doesn't it know what action is? This is not good. Maybe because of this here. So let me try and do this. Let's put data over there. Does that change anything? No, it doesn't. It actually makes things worse. Okay, great. So it doesn't know what action is. Why? Okay, let me do this. Let's go here and do show data. So the way to solve problems is to just try and see whatever is inside these items. Now the problem with this template is it's got absolute positioning, so just put die at the end there if you want to see any results. Okay, so there is action in there, right? And so if I grab this and go to the controller, where is controller? So this is the view function, so it should have, right, for some reason this is not updated. Oh no. Okay, I understand what's going on here. I did update it in the tutorial, but for some reason some code is missing here, but that's fine. So we're just going to add it here. So we're just going to say if, let's put data here and set it to an empty array. So we'll just say extract data. I think that should solve the problem. So let's refresh. Yeah, that solved the problem. Okay, so if I click new, you see here we are on the new page now. If I click here, we are back here, new, we are on new. So we can actually add a user now by simply going to the users page, and let's create a form right here. So I'm just going to add a form. Method is equal to post, and then we just need a few inputs here. So input 1, type text. The name will be username, and then class will be form control, and let's put a placeholder as well. Placeholder will be username, like that. Okay, let's put a second one. With the classes here, I can put margin top to 2, maybe 3, like that, so that there's a margin between them. And then this one will be of type email, and of course it will be email. And then let's duplicate that. This one will be password, and also name password. Let's come down here. Maybe you may want to see the password, so let's put it at text instead. Okay, so email, password here. Alrighty then. So let's see what happens. And there we go. So if you don't want it this big, let's put it inside a div. I mean this wide, not this big. Let's put a class there and tell it that this is just a column which will go to maximum at medium, and 6 means half because Bootstrap has 12 columns, so 6 is half. Let's also do MX auto just to make sure it's in the center of the page. Let's add some padding as well, maybe 3, like that. Okay, so there we go, it's right here. And we might as well put a title, new record, maybe new user record, like that. Okay, great. So new user record, we start with this one. Let's put autofocus on this one. Alrighty then, so ready to submit. Here I'll put a button. This one is save. Let's put a class with button and button primary. Alright. Let's give it some space. Alright. Cool. So there we go. Save. Or we might as well go back if we want. So we can put a back button as well. Let's just change its type to button so it doesn't submit. And let's put back. This one can be secondary. Alrighty then. Now this will be the basis for most of the inputs that we add here. So once we get this right, it will be easy to copy to other sections. So back, save. Now the back button should obviously have a link. So let me copy this here. Let me also tell it to float to the end. And let me close that A tag. And then instead of new, let's just remove that new at the end so that it's like that. So click on it. This is what we get. Back, new, and save. If I click save, nothing good will happen. So let's make sure that things work out. So on this one, I just want to dump all the errors if there are any right at the top here. So what I'll do is I'll put a div with a class alert danger text center. All right. So here all I want to do is implode. The glue will be a break tag and the pieces will be errors. All right, then let's close that. So we're using implode because errors will be an array. So implode converts an array into a string and you get to specify what's in between the strings. So that's the break tag. Okay, so this should only work if we have errors. So I'll say PHP if not empty, errors. Like that. Alrighty then. Cool. So if I now refresh, no errors yet, but we should see some errors. So what I want to do is go to the admin section here. Users should keep errors because when we go to the models section, any errors are stored in this errors. So all we need to do is check if there are any errors and send them. So here I'm going to say data. I'll do this and say errors should be equal to user errors. So that always exists, but sometimes it's empty unless there were errors. Now in order to get errors, we should validate. So to do that, we're going to use an if statement and say if user validates, like that. So if things are well validated, we'll go in here. If not, we'll bypass this and get to here. So this validate function is in the user model, which is this one right here, which will do all this validation here and register some errors if there are any, which we can see here. Now we're going to supply the post data in the validation. And then if everything went well, we'll redirect our user to the admin page / users. Okay, cool. Looks great, looks great. So if the validation is good, all we want to do is insert. So we just come here and say user insert and then put that post data just like that. But before we insert, I want to deal with the password. So here I'll say post password is equal to password hash. So we want to hash the password that the user has given us. That will be inside there, and we'll leave that as we want to put a hash. Here you're supposed to put what algo you want to use, but we'll leave it at the default. So we've just hashed that and saved it and redirected. As simple as that. So let's see if things will work as intended. So if I just try to save right now, you see I get all these errors. Let's add a username here. Okay, let's try to save. So if we don't get a username is required, but you see the data is gone. I don't have that anymore there to see what mistake I made. So there's a function that I normally use, but I don't have it here. So let's go to functions. Now some of these functions we'll add here. I'll do an update on this MVC system, and we're going to add some more functions here so that we don't have to type them every time for every tutorial. So I'll say function, we'll call it old value. So it's easy to remember what it's for.